Instagram records showing that video call. In Robinson's Instagram account.
Oh yeah, I ain't gonna lie. Ksoo, you're cooked. I think you're cooked, bro. No way he beat this case. What's good, YouTube? I'm about to make a YouTube video, bro. And today we got the Ksoo trial or whatever, bro. If y'all don't know, pretty sure everybody know Ksoo locked up for killing some little Chris nigga at a market or whatever, bro. So I'm trying to see, but I'm not gonna get more into detail because all I know is he killed somebody. I don't really know how it went down or whatever. So yeah, if you new here, bro, leave a like, comment, subscribe down below, follow me on all my socials on the screen next to me, bro. And yeah, let's get into the video.
For Charles to exit, Hakeem Robinson does two things. One, using Instagram on his phone, he contacts Raekwon Howard. Raekwon Howard was affiliated with 6-1 Drugs. Tells him, got one of your boys slipping. Let him know you're getting ready to take somebody out, but doesn't say who. That will be confirmed by Instagram records showing that video call in Robinson's Instagram account.
Oh yeah, I ain't gonna lie. Ksoo, you're cooked. I think you're cooked, bro. No way he beat this case.
Hakeem Robinson pulled the trigger over and over and over and over again. Many different types of evidence that you will see in this trial, but one is video surveillance.
Yeah, I'm trying to see how this went down.
I'm just letting you know how it is. It's kill time.
What's up, what it do? Drill Time TV checking in once again. And Young and Ace homeboy Ksoo and his cousin ATK Scotty trial underway for that M that took place on January the 15th, 2020. And although both of their attorneys sounded promising in their opening arguments by implementing the B-Rabbit off of 8 Mile method, and what's that? By telling the jury everything the state could possibly come up with to say in a negative fashion. Now, although they was in there cooking, the prosecutor still saying they cooked. And in fact, this case is an open and shut slam dunk based on the evidence they comprise that we go get on to later on in this video. But first, hit the like button and share this one time for your boy to spread awareness. And if you ain't subscribed to the channel, this is a good time to do it now.
Right. That's a little Butter, a dude, Scotty, Ksoo, and Crazy Crazy.
Thank you, I appreciate the support. I put a lot of work in this research. Now let's jump right into it. Now many of us seen the still image that's floating around of a slender built gentleman with the two-tone hoodie and dismissed it as being Ksoo. Me personally, I had no clue. I'm just reporting. That's up to you guys to decide. So let me know in the comments. However, prosecutors saying Charles McCormick, aka Little Buck from 6 Block, home of Julio Fulio, made a diss track against ATK and spoke on a Willie Addison hit. So on January the 15th, 2020, Ksoo, his brother, his cousin, ATK Scotty, along with his friend.
So this the big homie. I'm guessing, right? Oh no, it's his dad. Damn.
Butter and his cousin Torgon followed Lil Buck from his apartment complex to a temp service called Express Employment. So as they watched Buck walk into the establishment, they parked over in the cut behind his car so they'll be able to spot him when he walked out. So Buck went in there and took care of his business and lined him up a job, but as he was walking out to the parking lot, the driver stated that Ksoo called an audible. Initially they planned for Ksoo and Scotty to pop out and chase him down and possibly shoot him in the car. But Ksoo friend stated that Ksoo was thirstier than dead grass, and when he seen him, he said, "There you go," and popped out and got right to it. And in that moment, that's when the prosecutor said that Ksoo stood right over him and made a mess with them 223s.
What? See, Dion nigga be dumb as hell. This nigga caught a hat and they gonna rap about it. Now he wonder why he locked up.
How close would you say you got to him?
All the way to him.
And what did you see?
His leg was separated and half his face was gone.
Bro, this nigga Ksoo shot him. He switched cheese, bro. And shot it, and his legs came off. Like, what? That's crazy.
His teeth were on the sidewalk.
What?
Who shot and killed this man in Arlington. This is a new picture of Charles McCormick Jr. given to Action News Jax by his family. They say he was supposed to be starting a new job yesterday when he was killed. We first showed you this surveillance video of the suspects running through a backyard last night at 5. This happened after they crashed a stolen getaway car.
But luckily, it was an off-duty cop at Publix in close proximity that heard the gunfire and gave chase to the stolen Nissan Altima that was being driven by the friend Butter. Eventually, he crashed.
Yard last night at 5. This happened after they crashed a stolen getaway car.
But luckily, it was an off-duty cop at Publix in close proximity that heard the gunfire and gave chase to the stolen Nissan Altima that was being driven by the friend Butter. Eventually, he crashed. Now they hopped out and on feet. Officers say Scotty and Butter ran in one direction towards the house they crashed at, and Ksoo ran in the opposite direction. So the officer put his attention on Ksoo until he hopped a couple fences and got up out of there with rifle in hand and hold one. But prosecutors mentioned that he was caught on the Ring camera, and they claim they got footage of the murder. So the off-duty officer radios to the other officers their direction to travel. The officers claim, unlike Ksoo, Scotty and Butter left their weapons in a stolen Nissan and made their way in the backyard of a 57-year-old woman and barged into her home without permission, trying to evade the police. So boom, they make it into the woman's house. She walking out the bathroom and she spot the two guys and tell them, "Get out of my house," but in some colorful language, right? And proceeded to make it out on her front porch yelling help. So the both of them pulled this lady back in her home, and it was said that Butter proceeded to choke her down to the ground and took her phone and threatened to cause further harm if she didn't comply. So then ATF Scotty calls Ksoo brother Crazy K. So then they take the woman's clothing, most likely her husband's that was at work, change into that and share their location. And then about an hour later, Ksoo dad and his brother pulls up in a red orange Dodge Challenger. So then they jump in with Ksoo dad and evade the police. And so the lady makes it to her porch, flags down an officer that's still in the area, and gave a description of the perpetrators.
Damn.
Those men later got away after keeping a woman hostage inside her home for more than an hour. I'm John Bachman.
I'm Tanika Hughes. Action News Jax Elizabeth Pace has been on the story since she first found the woman who was held captive. Elizabeth is live in Arlington, and that woman told you that she's now worried the guys might come back for her.
She's doing much better today and hopeful that police might be close to answers, but now the adrenaline has worn off and she's sore and just anxious that these guys might come back. This is a little bit of what they left over. This is where they crashed. That stolen car looks like part of the plastic bumper here, and then over here we see part of the headlight. Now, although this still sits here on the sidewalk and is a reminder of what happened yesterday, she says she's not going to let them run her out of her own home. It all started at this store in Arlington, Express Employment Professionals. Police say someone shot up the store Wednesday morning, killing a young man. Today I learned that man was an up-and-coming music artist, 23-year-old Charles McCormick Jr. These are new pictures of him given to us by his family. They didn't want to go on camera, but told me they're crushed by his loss. He was supposed to be starting a new job that day. Before the suspects could get too far, they crashed their stolen getaway car about 2 miles on Townsend Boulevard. Neighbors gave me this home surveillance video that shows them running through yards and hopping a fence to get away from police. Then they chose a random woman's home to hide and change clothes. Okay, so what happened? So you just saw them all?
They were in my house. I came out of the bathroom and they were in my house.
We were getting video of the crashed car when I heard screams for help. She told me the two suspects just left her home after holding her hostage for an hour and a half. I helped her over to police and have checked in with her a few times since then. She says she's sore after trying to fight them off, but refuses to let them win.
She's resilient. Never again, you never think anything like that's going to happen to you, and especially her.
Kim was the first friend to find her. She also lives nearby.
We've been putting it through our heads, all the different scenarios that could have happened, and we're just so thankful that she's alive. it could have went so many different ways.
Now, we do know that JSO detectives have been back out here collecting DNA, and neighbors are hopeful that they'll make an arrest soon.
Now, Butter had distinct tattoos on his forearms, and the victim provided that information to the police. That same day, officers had her look at a photo spread, and she identified Butter as the one who choked her out, but she couldn't identify ATF Scotty because she didn't really see his face clearly. But to Scotty's surprise, they didn't really need her because when they pulled her back in the house, he left DNA on her clothing. That DNA evidence along with phone records proved that Scotty and Butter were the two that broke in his poor lady house and held her against her will while assaulting her in desperate hopes to escape from the police. Inside the stolen Nissan Altima, police also retrieved DNA evidence that leads back to Ksoo and ATK Scotty. The prosecution also emphasized that the two guns recovered from the stolen Nissan that belonged to ATK Scotty and Butter, they were not the murder weapons. They saying that the murder weapon was with Ksoo and he ran in the other direction. They said ATK Scotty had an AR-15 with 27 rounds and one in the chamber and was ready to fully participate, although he didn't pull the trigger. They also found the Glock inside the car with Ksoo fingerprints on the slide. You can't make this shit up.
They loaded AR-15 in the back.
This nigga is cooked.
26 rounds.
There's no way he beat this case. If he beat this case in Florida, y'all dumb as hell, I ain't gonna lie. But damn.
Including 1 round chambered, ready to fire. That was Leroy Whitaker's rifle. Wasn't a spectator in this. He was armed and fully willing and ready to participate, and participate he did, even though he did not pull a trigger. Also, a Glock handgun. And on the slide of that Glock, fingerprint. E. Robinson's.
Prosecutors saying that Ksoo hit the cut through a nature preserve park and made it to an apartment complex near Arlington Expressway. And from there, he sent his location to his brother Crazy Chris, who was with his cousin Torgon Williams at the time at Torgon House on Dalehurst Drive, just behind Merrill Road Shopping Plaza. So they woke Torgon's girlfriend up. They've been together 5 years and told her to drive to them apartments and pick up Ksoo without telling her what happened. So she leaves to go to swoop up Ksoo and bring him back to the house with his brother and his cousin. But not before a witness that stayed at the apartment at the time described a white female driving around the parking lot like she was looking for something but unfamiliar to the area. So she described Torgon's girlfriend in the car she was in at the time. Witness told the officer that she picked up a man in a two-tone hoodie after seeing him walk out the woods. The witness also got an alert on her phone about JSO looking for the suspects and the clothing description including that two-tone hoodie. Prosecutors claim that the witness got a quick glance at the clothing and ran back in the apartment for her safety, based off the alert. So being that she didn't get a good look at the suspect, she wouldn't be able to identify him. Now, Butter was arrested the same day and started cooperating. This story sounds like deja vu, so familiar, like we heard it before. FBG Butter. So they got Butter arrested. He pled guilty to second-degree murder for Charles McCormick, aka Little Buck, and admitted to being the driver.
He got shot a lot, but it don't look like enough for him to. Oh, he did get hit by some 223s now. Don't lie.
Pled guilty to burglary with assault and battery for running in that lady house fleeing from the police. He pled guilty to aggravated fleeing and eluding law enforcement for taking the police on a high-speed chase driving up to 100 miles per hour. And get this, they said he also pled guilty on a separate murder case. The prosecutor said he in so much shit when he testified, he don't know what sentence he go get. At this point, all he knows is what he looking at. And he's looking at life in prison. Yep, life with no parole, and according to his guidelines, the minimum he can receive is 41.8 years up to life in prison. But with his cooperation, the judge is allowed to go below that 41.8 threshold. But that's if she decided to, and at the time, she ain't make no promises. Now, one thing for sure and two for certain, Bubba also know there's no way he can get less than 20 years. But at the same time, he could testify and still get life. But the prosecution said they feel so confident that even without Butter, they had enough evidence to put Ksoo and Scotty away for a long time. Because right before the murder, Ksoo goes on Instagram and tell a 6 Black op I caught one of your boys slipping right before running down on his prey, bloodthirsty. Ksoo dad Blue pled guilty to 2 accessories to murder. One from this case, another unrelated. I believe Ksoo's father is gonna testify that Willie Addison, the guy Charles McCormick dissed in the song, was his son. And him and Ksoo's brother Crazy Chris was in a car and got shot while his son Willie died. And after that shooting, they became aware of the song and didn't like it. His son Abdul Jr., aka Crazy Chris, got hit in the head. So basically, Ksoo was furious.
Now, when you watched that video of the murder of Charles McCormick, did you recognize the shooter?
Yes, sir.
Who was the shooter in that video? Your son, Nicky Robinson.
Yes, sir.
And obviously he's your son, so you're very familiar with him.
Yes, sir.
Leading up to January the 15th, 2020, when he got a call from ATF Scotty and Crazy Chris because they needed help. At the time, still sticking to the story, saying that he didn't know that a murder was committed until he picked him up. But all this seemed rather suspicious to the viewers, especially since Ksoo's father went on the news expressing his pain with the promise of no retaliation after losing a son and being hit up himself in the same instance, watching his other son sustain a gunshot wound to the head. Damn, I ain't gonna lie, that's enough to make you get in one of them cars.
People shot in a mass shooting last month is now speaking out about the state of our city and what he feels needs to happen to stop the violence.
I think just as well as they're talking about bringing the National Guard in and all that, I think that that's going to be a challenge to the younger guys or whoever out here in the streets, you know, doing what they do.
Abdul Robinson was also shot in the mass shooting. 6 were shot and 1 person died. The man who died was Robinson's 25-year-old son, Willie Addison, who was an aspiring rapper. News4Jax reporter Destiny McKeever spoke one-on-one with Robinson, who now says he wants justice.
And Tariq, there have been no arrests made in that mass shooting. Again, I spoke with the father one-on-one. He says his young son, Willie Addison, was shot and killed, and his other son was shot and wounded. He's still in the hospital, but he says in no way, shape, or form did this family deserve this.
Posted on the fire with D and we getting money.
Willie Addison was shot and killed after a rap event at Paradise Gentlemen's Club last month. He was in the truck with 5 other people. His dad, Abdul Robinson, was driving.
I guess 2 or 3 cars pulled up on the side of us, shot inside our car over 100 times, killed my son in the front seat, shot my son in the back, in the head 3 times, shot my nephew several times, a couple more passengers in there were shot several times, numerous of times, and I drove all the way from there to Memorial Hospital, shot in the back myself twice.
It's a story hard to imagine, but Robinson says it was reality and he had to act fast. He says he's been through a lot, including his own trouble in the streets of Jacksonville, but today he wants to clear the air.
Did 11 years in prison, got out 2009, haven't been in no trouble with the law until a couple of months ago, nothing serious, and we not getting the same treatment as a victim. Not saying the police not working or doing their job, I don't want to say that.
What Robinson is saying is that with Jacksonville having 22 murders in the first couple of months of 2019, he wants people to know he's not retaliating for the murder of his son.
I want justice for my son. I'm not sending nobody out there. They got quote unquote, I'm supposed to have hits.
And with all the shootings in Jacksonville right now, Abdul says the talk around town is that he is initiating some of it. He's getting retaliation for his son's shooting death. He says that is not the case. He is going to let police.
So let me get this straight. So he done lost 1 son and he ready to let the police take his other 2 to save himself? Shit, like Snoop said, it's a doggy-dog world. Ksoo lawyer said Pop's ready to sacrifice the whole fam to sit down for 2 more years and hit the streets. Man, the game colder than a polar bear toenail. Fuck friends. You can't even trust a nigga that push you out they sack when y'all got football numbers hanging over your back. We ain't never seen no demonstration like that. America is infatuated and romanticized about gangsterism, so it's almost natural for people not affected by the tragedy to root for the bad guy. And I ain't mad at you. streets. But peep game, if you go out right now and catch a hat and all over the news and they call your parents here and point you out, and you really think you gonna be back in the streets rapping about dead ops? Shit, I don't think so. They took this case to the box, meaning if they happen to lose, it's a wrap. You'll never see them again. Ksoo lawyer mentioned that Bubba a failed rapper and Ksoo just got signed for $40K in 2020, so they was jealous of him. But quiet as kept, in 2020, a lot of people was licked. That was the era of PPP, where you could find your neighborhood junkie walking around with a 40 or 50K play, and a lot of them still on their feet to this day. And these ain't no random witnesses that seen something from afar. And these the getaway drivers. Fuck you talking about Blue and Butter saying this shit and putting themselves on the scene of the murder and saying Ksoo the sole shooter. I don't know if Butter tried to sauce the story up a little bit, but he said Ksoo was even gonna shoot at the cops, but him and Scotty told him, chill out, shit, this ain't no movie, you feeling yourself too much, because if they get to throwing back, you done made us all a memory. But at the end of the day, what can we learn from this? And Ksoo father said the way his body set up, he can't do 20 years, he just did 11, he got health complications, and he ain't trying to die in that motherfucker. He said y'all should have let the police do their job. Everybody on the case family but one person, but Nas said it the best. A thug changes, and love changes, and best friends become strangers. Word up.
And they asked me to go pick up Hakeem.
Did you know why they wanted you to pick him up?
No.
Did you ask?
No.
Did you finally agree to do that?
Yes.
Did it seem to you like Torgon or Abdul Robinson Jr. did not want to go pick him up themselves?
Yes.
That's it.
Where did you have to go to pick Hakeem up?
Off Arlington Expressway, in some apartments.
And how did you know where to go?
Kareem.
I'm not gonna lie, I think Ksoo cooked. Like, he cooked. Like, ain't no way about it, this Ksoo. Like, two people snitching on you, too much then fucking A. Like, nigga, ain't no way about it, this, bro. But if I enjoyed the video, bro, leave a like, comment, subscribe down below, follow me on my socials on the screen next to me, bro. Yes, I'll catch y'all boys in the next one. Peace.